Hawaii Fluid Art, a place to create. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my journey and what we've done and where we're going. So Hawaii Fluid Art is a place to create. We offer art classes 6 times a day, 7 days a week. We also feature a beautiful art gallery in the front of our stores where we feature local artists, artisans, and jewelry designers. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I got here. I worked in corporate America for many years, and I was a banker and a real estate broker. And in 2012, I was laid off. 4,500 of us were laid off. And at that time, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I had to find a different way. We made the decision, my husband and I, to move to Hawaii. And it was a very random decision. When we got to Hawaii, I had a very hard time finding a job. I wasn't local. The list went on and on. So I really struggled finding work. I did end up getting a job, and it was a crap job. I worked for a newspaper, and the effects that that had on me were not great. I was irritating my husband constantly. I was bored. I was at home, and I was calling him, when are you going to be home? What's going on? And he said that I needed to get a hobby. He said, you need a hobby. And those are his famous words. I tried everything. I tried oil painting. I tried watercolors, you name it, I tried it. I was terrible at all of it. And one night I was playing with paint and I needed some paint out of the bottom of a bottle, and I watered it down and I shook it out and I saw the way that the paint spread on the canvas, and I was like, this is cool. This is really cool. And this little spark lit inside of me. And I'll fast forward a little bit. I started posting my work online, and people started asking questions about it, and then people started buying it, and then people started asking me to teach. And what happened was I ended up being invited to a housing development in Hawaii where some famous people live. And I was teaching the classes and doing my thing. And pretty soon, the demand for my classes got so large that I started teaching out of my garage. And I taught 1,000 people out of my garage in 6 months. It's a lot of people coming and going from your house. So at that point, my husband put his foot down and booted me out of the garage. Now, in between getting booted out of the garage and teaching on site at this location, I had my branding, I had my logo, and all I was doing was teaching out of my garage and teaching at this resort area. And this very famous person said to me, Maya, you should franchise this business idea. And I thought, yeah, I should. But I didn't know anything about franchising, absolutely nothing. So what I had done was I made phone calls, and a lot of phone calls. I am a question asker, and I called so many different companies and attorneys and different people to try and find somebody that I felt I had a good fit with. And there's a lot of information out there. I'm sure those of you who have gone through this process, there are so many companies. And finding one that is the right fit for you is very important. So I spoke to Rick and I spoke to Monique, and I knew that I had found the company that was going to help hold my hand. So that was before I even opened my retail location. So in 1 month, I opened a retail location and I decided, let's just do it. Let's do it big. So I was scared, kind of like I'm scared up here talking to you guys right now. I'm not a public speaker. So fear is natural. It's absolutely normal to be afraid at this stage when you're first deciding that you think you want to franchise. And even those of us who have already signed the papers, it's a little scary. All great businesses and great business leaders have experienced fear, all of them. I'm sure you've heard the story about Elon Musk. And he had 2 surviving companies, and he was either going to go broke, keeping them both open, or take all the money and invest it in that one company. And he decided to just risk every penny he had, and that company was Tesla. And look where he is now. Believe in yourself. Fear is a motivator. Let your fear motivate you. Let it push you, but never stop you. When I had to write myself, my goals, and my dreams, I didn't stop at, I want to have 10 stores. I told Rick our second conversation, I'm going to have 150 franchises in 3 years. And he was very quiet. Sometimes he still says, pipe it down, girl, pipe it down. No, I'm not going to pipe it down. I'll have 150 locations in 3 years. And I might have 500 locations, but I'm going to have 150 locations. So let fear be your motivator. And then let go of your fear and go after your dreams. Because once that fear is set aside, everything is at your fingertips. This team offers everything that you need. So you have a great idea, right? What do you do next? Well, I had a great idea, but it was somebody else's idea, but I took that idea because my friend, the famous person who said I needed to franchise my idea, I thought that was a great idea, so I went with it, but I didn't know what I was doing, so I reached out to this team. And I wanted more. I wanted more locations, more money, more ability to help others. I wanted to lead and I wanted to help. And we can do all that as franchisors. Would you guys agree? Yeah? What's your most important thing for you? Mine is helping other people live a better life. And I do that through my art. To nurture and inspire the human spirit, one painting at a time. So I've told you guys about the way that I committed to franchising, and it changed my life. Not only has it changed my life, I'm starting to get a little emotional, it changed my husband's life. We were able to retire him yesterday from corporate America, all because of my franchise. And both of my adult children work for my company. All of this has happened since August of last year because of the help of the men and the women in the back of this room. Never will have to apply for another JOB. You guys know what I'm talking about? All right, I'll get myself together. Sorry, but it's a big deal that I retired that man. I signed my agreement 12 months ago. 12 months ago, May 1st, I got the keys to my first retail location. So in 1 month, they gave me the keys to my retail location. I signed the contract to franchise my business, and this is what's been happening for me. I have been creating the leadership aspects with the help of my team. Education, connections, support, and legal. They have all been given to me by the use and with Franchise Genesis' help. I have got the team that has helped me get to where I am right now. The teamwork, totally invaluable. You and I are going to sit down later and I'm going to tell you everything I know about where I got my deals and all my products at the best price. You shouldn't have to go do all that work when I can just tell you. And you guys are going to find that when you work with a group of franchisors, we're going to tell you guys our secrets because you shouldn't have to go put in all of that work. So we're talking about connections. So Rick introduced me to Nick. And Nick has been absolutely one of my biggest cheerleaders. He has the Great American Franchise Expo, which I highly suggest that all of you go to. Work your booth. Get a booth. Be the face of your business. It's not always easy to be the face of your business, but be the face of your business. Because people are not just buying your idea, they're buying you. They're buying the belief in you and what you can do for them. So professional guidance is priceless. I would have paid these guys 5 times as much as they charged me. Too late, you can't come back and get more. But they've been in the business for so many years that they know the pitfalls. They absolutely know what not to do. And if you listen to them and let them help guide you, I promise your transition is going to be much smoother than if you just try and go it alone. This just tells you what I just told you. Basically how my last year has been. Franchise agreement signed. In May, I opened my first location. October, I opened my second location. My FDD was complete in August. I worked on infrastructure for the next several months because I was bound and determined to have everything in line before I offered my franchise to the public. I moved to Texas from Hawaii, so that's been an adventure. And I'm opening my third location, and I turned down my first franchisee, which was a big deal, to turn somebody down. And Nick and Rick talked about it not being the right fit. It's scary because we've spent money, but to have the right fit is so much more important. And when I turned down that person, I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I need that money, in my brain. Well, right now we have 11 franchise agreements out waiting on signatures. My dream is becoming a reality thanks to the team in the back of this room. Don't let your fear stop you. Today is the day to take your future into your own hands. Franchising truly is the American dream, and this team can make it happen. And this is a picture of my second store. That's my Kansas City location. This is what our studios look like. They're pretty bougie. This is my first location, my little baby Hawaii store, 860 square feet of beauty. And there's some happy students. So that's what I have to say. I understand we're supposed to take a minute for questions and answers, questions and answers. So if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Who was the famous person?
Oh, I've taught everybody from Pink to Matthew McConaughey to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to Michael Phelps. But the famous one is a very handsome Texas actor. Anybody have any questions, or can I go sit down? All right, guys. Thank you.